Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with the second video of the day. As you can no doubt tell by the image, tonight's video is going to be about the Birds of Prey trailer. I've just finished watching the trailer where Harley is interrogated and then it breaks into a fight scene. So I just wanted to give my opinions on that trailer. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. I didn't like it. And I want to highlight and point out certain things that I noticed in the trailer that, just kind of irked me. So, first things first, right? This group here, right, of Renee Montoya and Huntress and Harley and Cassie Kane and Black Canary are not the Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey, at least the film, is more akin to Gotham City Sirens, right? The whole girl gang approach, this very anti-hero take on things. It's Gotham City Sirens. It's just not including Catwoman or Poison Ivy for whatever reason. Okay, the true Birds of Prey have been and always will be Black Canary, Huntress, and Batwoman/Oracle. Although I think in this image here, that might be Stephanie Brown as Batwoman. But still, not Batwoman, sorry. Batgirl. But still, these are the Birds of Prey, not the Gotham City Sirens. So anyway, let's be honest, this film is just about Margot Robbie and Margot Robbie's take on Harley Quinn, and it's really just a vehicle to elevate her character even further, right? The full title of the film, if I remember correctly, is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, or something to that effect. So let's be honest, this is just a Harley Quinn vehicle. The other characters don't really matter, which is why they are so, in my opinion, grossly inaccurate in a variety of ways. Now, the first person I wanted to talk about is Black Canary. Now, I've already said my piece and made my video about the casting of Journey Smollett-Bell as Black Canary. I did a video, it's called Color Me Shocked, and I showed in that video how, unlike the casting for the other roles in the film for the main hero team or heroine team, how the role of Black Canary, they never had a white actress on the short list for that role. The last three actresses, if I remember correctly, on the short list for the role of Black Canary were Janelle Monáe, Juju, or Goog, I don't know how you say her name, Juju, G-U-G-U, Raw, and of course Journey Smollett-Bell, who they ultimately chose for the role. Now, I don't really want to go over that again. What I really want to point out is actually Black Canary's arm. If you look at her arm here, her arm is very slim. There's no muscle tone, right? Which leads me to believe that they're not making the actresses work out appropriately for the film, meaning that they're not allowing them to gain muscle tone to portray the characters properly. Remember, certain characters like Huntress and Black Canary are trained martial artists and they have bodies reflecting such, right? For example, if you look at the comics, this is going back in the day, but this is Black Canary. This is the traditional Black Canary, and you can see clearly that there is size and muscle definition to her arm. Also look at a real-life martial artist, right? Amanda Nunes, the UFC mixed martial arts fighter, and you can clearly see muscle tone in her upper body and in particular in her arms as she's flexing here. Now you may be saying to yourself, well, Gene, aren't you being a little unfair comparing an actress to a comic book character and to a real life mixed martial artist who does this every day and who trains for it? Well, my answer to that is, look at Gal Gadot, or Gadot, right, who's most famous for playing Wonder Woman in the live-action film in 2017. As we can see here in this image, she has muscular arms. As you can see with the arm where she's bending her arm back and touching the back of her neck, and you can see her triceps and part of her bicep flexing. Gail does action films, and keep in mind, she was criticized for being on the slim side when she was cast as Wonder Woman, but they did have her working out for the role so that she can better visually embody the character of Wonder Woman. As we can see here, right? She is quite muscular, if very slim. That's not the case for Journey Smollett or any of the actresses featured in this film. And in my opinion, that is important. Am I expecting Harley to look like a muscular martial artist? No. Harley's not a trained martial artist. She just swings a hammer and bashes people in the head. But trained fighters have a certain look, right? Their bodies are developed and trained in a certain way. And if you're going to portray a comic book character, especially in Black Canary, whose training in martial arts is an actual important point of characterization, right? Because all she has for special abilities is her martial arts skill and her canary cry. So you need to look the part, is basically what I'm saying. But anyway, let me go on to the fight scene itself. I really don't care about the first part, like the first 15 seconds or so is really just this scene where Harley's being interrogated and she says something to Black Mask about having his diamond or knowing where it is. I'm skipping that part because I don't much care. The part I care about is the fight scene. Now, I've seen many a stylized fight scene in my life, being a fan of pro wrestling and comics and video games and whatnot, so I know a good fight scene when I see one. And this fight scene is awful. Despite being in a very brightly lit area, I'm guessing it's supposed to be a disco hall or a roller rink or something. Despite all the flash bulbs and everything and all the bright lights, it's actually very poorly lit. It's hard to make out what is happening in the fight. And plus, so many of the moves are just, it's obvious that it was choreographed. There's no visual punch. There's no visual excitement. It goes terribly slow. It reminds me more of like a skit that you might find at like a Comic-Con show. Like, a bunch of friends dress up in character and they try to do a fight scene, right? And that's fine for, say, Comic-Con, but it's completely awful for what's supposed to be a feature film, right? Films have stunt choreographers and fight choreographers. They should really be doing better than this. But anyway, there were a few things I wanted to point out in particular. First of all is this kick. So what happens is that Black Canary is she does a knee slide. She does a knee slide into a low front sweep kick. Now, you would imagine that with the way her leg is connecting with his leg, right, and the way he's sort of like already doubled over and leaning forward, that if she were to sweep his leg that way, right, kicking his leg out from the front, which would mean that she'd be kicking his leg backward, you would think that he would lose his balance and either fall to the side or fall forward onto his chest. But that's not what happened. What does the stuntman who's playing the baddie here do? Dude hits a suicide flip. I've seen enough B-boy to know. He does a front suicide flip. They really want us to believe that she kicked him so hard that the momentum of the kick threw his leg back and caused him to flip over. I understand selling a move to make it more impactful, right? I understand like throwing your head back if you're selling a punch to make it look like it really hurt. But there's a difference between selling and then doing this. Okay, this is by no means realistic. If she really hit him with that much force to kick his leg back and make him flip over, his shin would be shattered. He'd be grabbing his leg in pain. And that's not what happens. This is, in my opinion, very bad fight choreography. Because, at least for me, it takes me out of the moment, right? It breaks the suspension of disbelief that I have for the fight scene. So there's that. The next thing is Huntress. Dear God, what is with this costume? This costume is awful. This looks nothing like Huntress. I understand that they don't want it to be as revealing as as the costumes they typically wear in the comics. I understand they wanted to tone down the fan service and the sex appeal, and fine. I get all that. I can even understand that to a degree. But there's a difference between toning something down and then making something look drab. And this looks drab. Okay, maybe this would have worked in like 1996 or something. But it doesn't work now. I mean, they didn't even give her the domino mask or the hood or anything. This looks nothing like Huntress. And dear God, where is her chest? Really, where is her chest? It doesn't look like she's wearing bindings of any kind. Right? It doesn't look like she's wearing a chest binder or protector. So where in the world is her chest? I mean, last I checked, Mary Elizabeth Winstead does have noticeable boobs. I don't understand why they keep trying to hide the female figure. And seriously, if you're seeing this and you disagree with me, I respect your opinion, but please do not come at me with the whole, well, it's more practical argument. Look at this costume. You can clearly see her arms are exposed, her stomach and her upper body is exposed in the sections here where the top is. So she's obviously not wearing any armor underneath the costume. Okay, this is just as impractical as the costume that she wears from time to time where her like stomach is exposed, right? This is just as impractical, it's just as nonsensical. The difference is this isn't as visually attractive or sexy looking. And this is just, again, I get it. They want to they want to tone down sex appeal. I can understand that. But it should not look drab. This looks like she was at a rave in like a 90s era dance show or something. This is not Huntress. This is Huntress. And you see, this is a perfectly modest costume, right? Her top is covered, her stomach's covered. Yet this is still very flattering to her body, and yet it is not indecent. She still looks cool. And I want to be clear. I understand. They were not going to make it comics accurate. I get it. They were not going for comics accuracy. But they still could have done better than that drab thing. This is Huntress. This is not. This is Huntress. This is not. Now, let's go back to Huntress for a moment, and now the next thing, which is more Huntress, actually. So, there's a clip in this fight where Huntress throws a guy over her shoulder, and she quickly punches him either in the neck or in the head, or in the chest area. The problem with this is that aside from the punches looking awful and just being very hard to see in general, this is not a move Huntress would really do, right? If anything, here's the thing. Huntress is a brawler, right? Now, she knows martial arts. No one's denying that. She knows martial arts, but she tends to be a hothead. And because of that, she tends to eschew any technical prowess for just throwing blows. And as you can see, for just kneeing supposed allies and friends right in the head. If anybody's going to be throwing people over their shoulder, it's actually Black Canary. Because she, A, actually was trained in judo, and 2, her fighting style is more about subduing your opponent and stopping them from attacking you. Whereas Huntress tends to be more of just the aggressive brawler and striker, where she's just attacking until she knocks you out. So even if that clip had been done properly, the fact that it's Huntress throwing someone over her shoulder and then knocking them out with punches doesn't really fit. So there's that. And then finally we have Cassie Kane. Now I want to be clear. My criticism is based on this movie version of the character. It is not an attack on the actress. I have nothing against the actress. The actress is a little girl. I would never harshly criticize a child. And I want to be clear. I sincerely hope that she does well. All that being said, the character she is playing and the characterization of the character is free game. I want to make that clear. I have nothing against the actress. This isn't about her. This is not a criticism of her. It's the character she's playing. Okay? Here's the thing about Cassie Kane. Cassie Kane, right, is the daughter of Lady Shiva. Lady Shiva is one of the most deadly martial artists in the DC canon. She's a woman who can bring Batman to his knees. She's a woman who can scare Huntress so much that Huntress will pray. Huntress actually prayed before she fought Black Canary in a particular comic book. Sorry, not Canary. She prayed before she fought Lady Shiva because she sincerely thought she was going to die in that battle. This is how dangerous Lady Shiva is. And her daughter is just as dangerous. You see those bloodied swords? That's Cassie's work. You see those ninjas on the floor? That's Cassie's work. Cassie is basically DC's answer to X-23, right? But this movie version of her is not the answer to X-23. It's actually the answer to Jubilee. Now, I like Jubilee. I do. But Cassie Kane and Jubilee are not the same. They are not interchangeable just because they are Asian. They are completely different characters with completely different personalities and paths and lives. And if you don't believe me that this version of Cassie Kane from the film is meant to be DC's answer to Jubilee and not X-23, let's just compare this image of Jubilee and the image of the actress in costume. Look at that. Right, look again. See the pink? Pink. See the pink again? Pink. You see the punkish look? Punk look. It's Jubilee. She's playing a foul-mouthed DC take on Jubilee, which would be fine if she wasn't named Cassandra Cain. Cassandra Cain is a completely separate character. This is not accurate. And I hate it. I hate it, okay? I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to front. I hate this. I don't see how this is going to appeal to anybody. It's not going to appeal to comic fans because it's grossly inaccurate, as I've pointed out in this video and I've pointed out in other videos. It's grossly inaccurate. The fight scene was blah. There's no sex appeal, right? So it's not going to appeal to men or to women because guess what? Regardless of sex or sexuality, people like looking at pretty people. And there's nothing fun here to look at. So really, what is there with this? This is just going to be Charlie's Angels all over again. I'm calling it right now. This Birds of Prey film is going to be Charlie's Angels 2020. It's going to fail just like that did. And the sad thing is it doesn't need to. If they're just stuck with just loosely stuck to the I would say Gotham City Sirens plot line, right, and just shown a modicum of respect to the comics while still being creative and doing their own thing and actually keeping the characters in character, wouldn't be in this situation. And from what I'm hearing already, there are low ticket sales and all this other stuff. But anyway, I have no interest in this film. Every time I see more of it, I just become less disinterested and just more frustrated with what at least is for me the glaring, obvious inaccuracies with the visual presentation of this film, whether it's costumes, as you can easily see here with Cassie and with Black Canary, or whether it's the fight scene itself, or it's just horrible presentation. And presentation is important, especially for a film. So it's a no. It's a no from me. And if it fails, which I do think it's going to fail, it's going to get exactly what it deserves. When you don't show any respect for your source material, you get what you get. So anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, what your opinions on the trailer are, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.